Hi guys, welcome back to Jay's Kitchen. So today, after much persuasion from my little one, I'm actually going to bake her a cake, a loaf cake actually. So since she requested for a chocolate cake, I'm going to be making her a marbled banana cake. So let's start and see what are the ingredients we need to make this marbled banana cake, shall we? So here I have my milk. We don't really need a whole bottle of milk. We just probably need just like 2 tablespoons of milk. I have my measuring cups and my spoons. We have 3 bananas here. So my bananas are pretty much ripe, so I'm going to be using them and finishing them off. And we have our unsalted butter, the vanilla essence. I have my sugar. We also have brown sugar here, cocoa powder, and then I have my salt to season, my all-purpose flour, baking soda, and I have 2 eggs. So the cake only requires 1 large egg. So if you have a large egg, just use 1. But if you have smaller eggs, you can always use 2 eggs. So let's start and let me prepare the ingredients and then we'll start baking the cake. So as you can see here, I've already mashed my bananas, 3 bananas, mashed it. And here is my milk, which I'm going to be using 2 tablespoons of it. And I have my 1/3 cup of butter. So you don't want to heat the butter till it's sizzling hot. You just want it to be lightly heated up. But if you feel it's too hot, just let it cool down a little bit before you start making the cake. And then I have here my 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then I have my 2 eggs here, and as I said before, if you have a large egg you can just use 1, but if you have smaller ones you can always use 2. And then I have my 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, and then I have my also another 1/4 cup of sugar, and I have a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and then also my vanilla essence, which I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon, and I have my 1.5 cup of flour. So I'm using all-purpose flour here. So next what we're going to do is we're going to butter the loaf pan and prepare the loaf pan to pour the batter in. So here, as you can see, I have my loaf pan already washed and clean, and I'm going to be greasing it a little bit so the cake doesn't stick to it. Just make sure you get all part of the pan greased, so that once the cake is done and it's cooled down, it's easy for you to remove it from the pan. So you can always put in extra butter into the bowl when you're melting it, so that you can use some extra to actually grease your loaf pan. And also I have here parchment paper, which I'll be using. If you don't want to use a parchment paper, it's pretty fine too. So a parchment paper will be pretty easy to remove once the cake is done. So I'm just putting in a parchment paper here. Okay, folding it. And don't forget to grease a little bit your parchment paper too. Just a little bit will be fine. Okay, and my loaf pan is ready. And as for my oven, I'm going to be preheating it to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And while my oven is heating up, we are going to prepare the batter for the cake. So for this recipe of marbled banana cake, I'm not going to be using a stand mixer, but just a regular whisk. I'm going to be mixing it with my hands, because for this recipe you do not want to do the batter by mixing it too much. So we're just going to be using a regular hand whisk and also a bowl for this. So firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be mixing the banana and also the butter together. So we're putting in all the butter, because I already have enough of butter for myself to grease grease a pan. So right now I'm going to slowly start whisking it. And like I said, we do not want to overmix the batter. So we're going to whisk it till it nicely incorporates together. So now I'm going to add in both the sugars. So we're going to add the sugar in first. And I'm actually going to whisk this a little bit. And then I'm going to add in my brown sugar. Pretty healthy. So that's why we're using more of the brown sugar than of the white sugar. So keep mixing this until it's fully mixed together. So I've pretty much mixed this till it's well combined. It's one of the reasons why I got a stand mixer in the first place, because it's really difficult to actually whisk with a hand whisk. So right now I'm going to add in both of my eggs. And then also my vanilla essence. It's going to be 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. Just nice 1 teaspoon. And then I'm going to continue slowly, gently, and whisk it till it's well combined. So as you can see, my batter is well combined, and I've actually beat it in 3 separate batches. So right now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding in 1 cup of this batter into a separate bowl here. So I'm going to add in 1 cup into this batter here. So we're just going to bring everything inside, and this is the batter where we are going to be adding in the cocoa powder. So I'm going to make sure I've got everything inside. Okay, so here is where we're going to be adding in the cocoa powder. I'm going to add in about 1 spoon of milk here, just to make it a bit easy to mix it. So we're going to give it a mix on this one till it's well combined. So as my cocoa powder batter is becoming almost well combined, you can always add in a little bit of extra milk if you find it very difficult to whisk it. So the batter here, just a little bit more. Make sure that you whisk and you get all the cocoa powder. So it's done. So now let's start pouring into the pan. So now, since the pan is already prepared, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop in 1/4 of the plain batter into the pan. And then I'm going to alternately take another tablespoon of chocolate, and I'm going to put it on top of the pan, and I'm going to keep on rotating and doing the same. Another 1/4 on top, and another 1 spoon on top of this. So it's going to go on until I finish the batter in the pan. So here I've already used all my batter, and just give it a tap a few times, but don't swirl it, because then the batter mixture will get muddled up. So alternately, what you can do is you can always use 1/4 cup of plain batter with 2 tablespoons of cocoa. It's up to you. If you feel the cocoa is very less, you can always use 2 tablespoons, and then just give it a few taps, and in it goes into the oven. So my batter will be going into the oven, and you can bake it for 30 to 60 minutes at 350 Fahrenheit degrees. And don't forget to check at 30 minutes to make sure that it doesn't brown. If you feel that the cake is actually browning, you can always put a foil at 30 minutes mark. So always keep checking from outside, not to open the door, but keep checking from outside to see how your cake is turning out. So my cake is out from the oven, just removed it, and it's nice and it's turned out beautifully. So I'm going to allow this cake to cool before I remove it from my pan. So just allow it to cool for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we can see how it turned out. So my cake has cooled down, and as you can see here, it's very beautifully done. So don't forget, please bake it at 30 to 60 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So after the 30 minutes mark, please always make sure to check in and on and off, of course from outside, that your cake doesn't brown. If your oven is a type where the cake actually browns very quickly, don't forget to put in a foil on top of the to cover the cake, so that your cake doesn't actually brown too fast. And mine took 60 minutes to bake beautifully, so I hope you try to bake this. Thank you so much for joining me today in watching my video on how I made a marbled banana bread. So if you like my video, don't forget to give me a like, give me a thumbs up, share it in your social media, share it among your friends. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Rainbows and Butterflies Forever, please do by subscribing, clicking the subscribe button that's below this video. But don't just subscribe, but also remember to press the notification bell so that you'll always receive a notification in your email whenever a new video is uploaded on my YouTube channel, Rainbows and Butterflies Forever. So till I see you in my next video, have a good night and do take care.